Welcome to the Canto 3 of Nandini Sahu's Sita series. In this video, I will take over from where I left in the Canto 2. I'll recite Canto 3 while I will reflect on the fact that how in my poetry, and particularly in this long poem Sita, the Desi, the Marg, and the Videshi, all these variants of a reality have become self-reflexive, dialogic, and inter-civilizational. By using tools and concepts from the latest theories of post-colonialism, post-structuralism, new historicism, and cultural poetics, I undertake a rigorous analysis of Sita in terms of its shifting locations, multi-strained intertextuality, its political biases, and poetics of parody and meta creativity. My poetic practice derives its structural strength from the narratives available to me from various oral folk traditions. Folk narratives as subliminal processes lend me a grammar of sequentializing my complex and ironic poetic arguments. Moreover, it is my intense human concern that helps me get over the boundaries which literary genre set among them. I have tried to keep the human scene central in the cantos in Sita, and particularly in this Canto 3. The more I pay attention to the human world, for me, the line between the poem and the novel, the lyre and the story begins to blur. And anyway, in Indian poetry, there has never been a clear line. Any single poem implies a personage, a voice, a specific scene, a whole dramatic situation. The poem, in the context of my open poetics, has every possibility of lapsing into a long narrative from the basic intent of both form, and it is to unmask the realities of human life, layer after layer. If one has to read Sita a poem as an organic whole, it begins to attain the character of a long narrative poem, very close to modern epics, in which every poem acts as a mini narrative block contributing to the making of a heroic verse. In the Canto 3, the heroic verse commences. Let me recite it for you. Canto 3, Sita, a poem. Shiva's colossal bow, the divine Shivadanush, the pinnacle, gifted to my father by says Parashurama for safekeeping, while he accomplished penance. The Nurveda says it came to Parashurama from Lord Shiva. How could I have known the sanctity, the reverence of the Shivadhanush? I didn't understand why a wave of something like the tail end of a sad dream swept through my father whenever he saw it. Father had a dream in him. It was pitiless. Nothing worthy came at autonomy, even the Shivadanush. Pain was his currency, but he had this cheerful devotion, a guilelessness, and an unabashed hopefulness for me, his daughter Maithili. The day when the withdrawn mountain peaks became opaque silhouettes of hunkering colossus Father was brooding deeper into the synthesia of the empirical, the geometric space, common objects, plants, animals, images, and oriented them into the material structure. I did it. I did it, knowing not that I was writing history. I just picked and placed the Shivadanush in place while playing with my sisters and the dozens of soldiers in charge of lifting the giant bow. They went berserk. A girl lifting a thing that 300 soldiers would do together. A woman with such luminous strength, such valor, who knew what chaos, anarchy, atrocity was in the offing. What true warrior was taking birth from the homogenized denominator? King Janaka didn't reinforce patriarchal values, quote unquote. Whosoever wanted to marry my daughter had to do so only after lifting the Shivadanush from its place and stringing it. Stop quote. The colossal bow was the backdrop, the precondition to my Swayamvar. I ponder over the idea of father's choice of a groom for me. How could the Swayamvar be interrogated thus? The choice of husband should be the woman's prerogative, not father's preconditions of the physical strength of a man. Shouldn't love be the agent to map the interplay of the future, text and context of a complete connubium? Does strength qualify one to win a woman's heart? Even today, parents beget daughters with the hope of a son. Girls queue up, paving way for a boy, and one day the girls are married off to prospective grooms whose stipulation could be a decent job, an affluent family, a teetotaler, maybe two horoscopes to be matched by a pandit, and families' alliances, marriage in the absence and isolation of love and desire happens. Anyway, I was in love with you, O Ram, Maryada Purushottam, the supreme self, the ultimate reality, the Brahma of the Upanishads. You came back from the hermitage of sage Vasishta. Sage Vishwamitra had urged your father, King Dasarath, to send you and Lakshman to safeguard his yajna from the demons and empower you with warfare secrets. You came to Mithila, to my Swayamvar, with sage Vishwamitra to lift, set, and shoot the arrow from the Shivadhanush and win my heart. Your brothers Lakshman, Bharat, and Shatrugna married Urmila, Shrutakirti, and Mandavi, my sisters. O Ram, all of us embody assorted facets of life. Ram for the soul, Lakshman for the willpower, Shatrugna for reason, Bharat for emotion, me, Janaki for intellect of divine origin. King Dasharath for mortal disposition. His three queens, three gunas. Kaushalya stands for sattva, which is harmony, balance, spirit. Sumitra for rajas, action, energy, and change. Kakeyi is tamas, the darkness, inertia, and decadence. My lord, if my life was so full of the myriad sentiments of life, then what went wrong? Sita, pure as the Madonna or the lily, Janaka's dream vision of splendor, couldn't she defend the insignia of defeats? I, Maithili, incarnations of Meera, Radha, Lakshmi, Rupa, Satrupa, Asima, am caught in the endless helix of the mortal adventure, seeking repetition of the ancient mythical cyclic wheel. No doubt I'm speaking my words now, laying bereaved on the lap of my mother, Vasundhara, the Mother Earth. Your memories are sinking deep within the mind's courier. There is a bright burning, here a girl child is doomed. Anon, a female feticide there. When I cannot see myself as different from the concert of the entire womanhood, where is the room for fresh references of my flamboyant wedding? I am woman, every woman, the paramount sacrifice of the celebrated Aswamedha.